if you are um, looking up articles talking about the top three foods, the top five foods, the top 10 foods, or whatever, for weight loss or fat loss or whatever, you're wasting your time. The reason why I say you're kind of wasting your time when you look up articles like that is because the attitude behind that is typically, probably not every time, but it's typically, they're looking for um it's looking for a magic bullet, looking for the thing that's going to be key to helping you lose the weight. And I'm telling you that that's not really the way this stuff works. Morning, y'all. So I'm gonna go ahead and tell you, if you are um looking up articles talking about the top three foods, the top five foods, the top 10 foods or whatever, for weight loss or fat loss or whatever, you're wasting your time. And the reason why I say that is because weight loss is not just a matter of eating more of very specific type of food, so to speak. Not Let me explain, because that can what I said can be a little bit, it can be a little misleading. Let me explain what I mean. So for example, I just did a search here and I pulled up one of these articles. I'm not going to mention where I got it from, but you can find probably millions of articles talking about the top foods for weight loss. And the things that I tend to see are, so I saw dark chocolate on here. Um, good stuff like fish, oatmeal, beans, nuts. One that I see oftentimes is like green tea, chia seeds, uh, dark chocolate. You know, it's good stuff on here, whole grains. But here's the thing: the reason why I say you're kind of wasting your time when you look up articles like that is because the attitude behind that is typically, probably not every time, but it's typically, they're looking for um it's looking for a magic bullet, looking for the thing that's going to be key to helping you lose the weight. And I'm telling you that that's not really the way this stuff works. Now, this is what I tell you about fat loss, weight loss as it pertains to how you eat. So I've already said many times that fat loss or weight loss is not just simply a matter of calories in, calories out. I mean, that's part of it. But again, you also have to understand that the type of foods that you eat have a have an effect on your hormones. And however they affect your hormones dictates, your body composition as well. Case in point, that's why men on average have more muscle mass than women, because, for example, like our testosterone levels are so much higher, and that directly contributes to us having more muscle mass and more height and stuff like that. Um, than ladies. But yeah, so the type of foods you eat, you have to look at it a little bit more broadly. Basically, if you want to lose weight, you have to consider how much you are eating, like the quantity of food that you're eating. And you also have to consider like the broad types of food that you're eating. So generally, if you're consuming, if you think about grains and whatnot, so whole grains, as I just saw in one of these articles I clicked here, can be a part of a weight loss diet. However, what you have to consider with grains is, I think what they meant by that article, without me looking at it, is that you want to consume whole grains rather than non-whole grains, because whole grain foods will not spike your insulin, which is gonna like cause you to get in the fat gain mode. It's gonna spike your insulin a lot more so than whole grain foods. Okay. That said, the thing you have to understand about grains is that grains are very high. I call it high energy, but you can say high carbohydrate foods. Not a problem if you are somebody who's very active and somebody who doesn't have weight to lose. If you have a lot of weight that you need to lose, when you consume very high energy foods like high carbohydrate foods like whole grains, for example, it's not that you eliminate them. It's just that you have to understand still that when your body has availability to carbohydrates like that, then it's going to spare the fat that it has. Fat in your body is kind of like a safe storage. It's kind of like put aside for when you really need it. So you have to consider that whenever it comes to gaining weight. Now the other thing, gaining or losing weight, I mean. Now the other thing to consider is when it comes to stuff like dark chocolate, green tea, nuts and things like that they mentioned. So what are you going to do? So the average person, when it comes to eating dark chocolate, this is what I think about it, at least. So I speak for myself. When I think about dark chocolate, I like dark chocolate, but I'm not getting that 90%, whatever they say, Keiko, whatever it is, um, dark chocolate. I'm not getting that really, really bitter dark chocolate that has like no sweetness to it at all. But that's probably kind of stuff they're talking about. Now, if you just eat dark chocolate, that's like 60, 70% or whatever, and it's still sweet, you're gonna be made to think that you can kind of do, just eat a lot of dark chocolate like that, and then you'll gain weight. It's some properties of dark chocolate that can help, but you probably don't need to do the sweet chocolate, is what I'm trying to say. Green tea. I like green tea. And I used to drink it a lot, and I'm trying to get back into drinking it more. But you'll be led to believe that, okay, this is a food for fat loss. Will it increase my metabolism? A drink for fat loss, I mean. You'll be led to believe that you can just drink copious amounts of green tea and lose fat. And that's not the way it works, y'all. First of all, it's compounds in green tea that can perhaps help to increase your metabolism, but it's not like you can drink gallons of that and then somehow negate an unhealthy lifestyle. So I do drink green tea, but I drink it just for the overall health benefit and because I like it, not because I'm trying to get it to help me lose fat. So like when you look at articles like this, they will lead you to believe that you can perhaps take these select things and consume a lot of them, and still kind of have whatever kind of lifestyle. You got to understand you have to develop a lifestyle. You have to develop an overall way of eating to actually lose weight, to lose weight in a consistent way. And you have to it has to become, and I know it's a cliche now, but it has to become your lifestyle. It really has to be something where you wean yourself off of those cravings. Okay. So it involves like a developing over time of a healthy diet, not necessarily looking for a magic bullet, you know, and you probably even are going to need to fast. Some fasting is good for weight loss too. But the main reason I recommend fasting is not necessarily as much for the fat loss as it is for breaking the cravings that keep you eating an unhealthy diet. Now that's the kind of stuff that people don't really want to hear as much. But if you really want to not have to obsess over your weight so much, and to really, really be able to kind of have sustainable fat loss, you need to do stuff like uh fasting, But ultimately, saying all that to say, don't waste your time just looking for a magic bullet, even if it's something healthy like green tea or dark chocolate or something like that. If you want to incorporate those, that's fine. But don't do it because you are aiming for fat loss per se. To lose fat, to successfully maintain weight loss, you need to develop a lifestyle. You need to develop a lifestyle that causes you to focus on non-starchy vegetables, that causes you to de-emphasize the heavy carbohydrate foods. Not eliminate, but de-emphasize grains and heavy starchy foods and whatnot. And then it includes some more protein heavy foods if that's what you do, animal protein. But you need to emphasize those non-starchy vegetables. Everything else is icing on the cake. Y'all have a good morning. If you like this content, you might also be interested in one of my books. Learn how you can take steps literally today to successfully manage, control, and overcome common issues such as high blood pressure, diabetes, and belly fat. It's all about putting power back in your hands to improve your own health. Get your book copy today by the links in the description or by visiting SeanMcClendon.com/books. Also, don't forget, hit the like button and subscribe, and join my email list at SeanMcClendon.com/subscribe.